function call with some key value pairs which get put into a dictionary, sorry, hash table. You can tell I'm having confusion with languages. I've just done the first day of a Python training course, so I'm still in Python. I'm desperate to move that. So stage here, consider those as a function call. So key value pair, they get dropped into a linked hash map, which is then passed into the stage call. But this is all meta-object protocol stuff. So there is no function stage anywhere within GroovyFX. A function call is mediated by a call of the function call operator. Standard meta-object protocol thing. So function call is then a string which gets passed into the decision-making system of what to actually do. And so you can create builders out of these things. That's build a pattern, as in Gamma 4, build a pattern. So once we've actually run our star function, this closure is data to that. So the compiler doesn't start type checking or anything like that. This function call here, when it is executed, actually causes a node in a tree to be constructed. That node is labeled stage, and it has a linked hash map associated with it, and that includes this closure as well. That closure is a parameter. The function call goes in as metadata. And the same thing happens with C. There is no function C anywhere in GroovyFX. We use the meta-object protocol to mediate this call. So again, key value pair, plus this closure, which put in this data, creates a node in the tree, because we're redefining what function call means in this builder. It doesn't mean call a function, it means build a node in the tree. This is exactly what XML parsers do when you're creating an XML doc. You're reading the text, and they're building a node in the tree.
So stage is conceptually a function that takes 3 arguments.
Stage is conceptually a function that takes as many arguments as you want.
But in this case, it's taking 3.
No, because what Groovy does is to pick up these and put them into a new instance of the linked hash map.
Oh, okay.
So actually, this is only 2 parameters. One is the linked hash map, and one is the closure.
Oh, I see. Okay. But if the hash map is an implementation detail, so it's using 3 arguments, a title, visible, and closure thing.
Well, the thing is, what you've got here is the stage has a vast number of properties. In exactly the same way that window in AWT has a vast number of properties that you can set. And what you want to do is to accept the defaults for most of them and change the ones you want to change. And so what actually happens here when this gets executed is you create a node, so we get a new stage, and then we call set title with that method parameter, and then we call set visible with that parameter. So we're actually using code to write entries into an instance at runtime. And the final node in this scene graph, text, X, Y, text, font, blah, blah, blah. Well, we've got a little parser that enables it to do that. It's actually a CSS parser that comes with JavaFX. It's just in the com.sum place rather than the JavaFX place. So it's essentially hidden. It doesn't get documented and may go away. But the chance of the CSS parser going away from JavaFX is so small that we're betting on it being there in 20 years' time. So there's a CSS parser that parses that into the font size and font to get hold of. And the set font that happens because we've got that there, then uses that information. So you're thinking, It's waffled a lot. He's shown some code aside. Doesn't work. I think the time has come where you've got to sort of.
But before you do that, it looks solid attractive,
Yes, it is.
right? Which is nice.
Yes.
Got back to where we started.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
But B, can you say a couple of sentences about where Groovy sprang from?
Sure. It came from a, where can I say, I can't remember which airport, but Groovy started in the lounge of an airport because the author was bored and hated Java. Hated Java so much he decided to write Groovy. And that was, what, October-ish 2003, something like that. And the group that came there was so excited and really jolly, they pushed in a JSR, and Groovy's going to be part of the Java distribution. And so it got to JSR 241, and then all the brickbats came in saying, "You haven't got a language, let alone anything else, how can you do a JSR?" And there was lots of anger, angst, and odds, and the team was sort of dissolved. So about July 2004, Guillaume Ford said, "This is too good a language to lose. It's a dynamic language, it's a symbiote to Java, rather than being in competition with it. Whereas JRoot is very much a competition, Jython is a competition. Whereas the idea behind Groovy is to work with Java. So you have Groovy bits and Java bits, and they need to work seamlessly." It's actually compiled out because everything has to be compiled. It's compiled into an interpreted sequence. So it's a full methodology process. So it's not direct bytecode. This assignment means put this on the stack, put this on the stack, do that. So it's very much a, we have got to find out which add method is being used, and then we'll schedule that. It's methodology protocol. Except that the world is becoming very interested in static languages. So in a moment, we'll have a little addendum up to 2004. So Guillaume Ford picked up on it and said, "We must reassemble a team, we will do something, we will get this going." And so a few of us I joined in about October 2004, sometime around then. Actually, probably October the 18th, 2004. I remember the date because it was the day after it exploded when she suffered with the sun. So, actually, that should say GroovyX. Error. That's GroovyX, not GroovyFX. So since 2004, Groovy has been training on. It was 2007, I think it was version 1, and we're now up to version 2.1.1. Me, I tend to use version 2.2.0's hash snapshot, because I build Groovy every day on the machine. Git ed. Because I'm basically unstable sort of job, which is why I'm using unstable. Does that give you a point of history enough? Thank you. Cool. I'm sorry about the error on the slide. I thought I'd check these. The code certainly says GroovyX because it runs. If it said GroovyFX, it would not run.
It's quite demanding when you put the FX in small lowercase Java and Groovy, but not the Groovy.
Forget the
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, FX. Yeah, I guess. This though is a class, and so therefore must start with a capital to obey the rules. Whereas this is a package, you must therefore be lowercase to obey the rules.
They've broken their own naming convention. It should be JavaX.fx or JavaX.JavaFX or something. It shouldn't be JavaFX.
Let's not go. We want some code and we want to do stuff. I thought I'd mention I've mentioned Steve Chin and the fact that Oracle are putting massive resources into JavaFX. So I thought I'd just mention, let's see if this works. Check it out. Yeah, so this is really just a plug for Steve's efforts in doing JavaFX. He did the road, last year he did the road to DevOps, which was basically, he did that tour, starting in London, whipping around that, and he did a city a day, which is some movement when we were on a 1200cc motorbike. Okay, so he did the train across here, but the rest of this was done on 1200cc motorbike. It was a monster, really excellent. And he interviewed Ben on Friday, no, Saturday. He did me on Sunday. He came round to my flat and set up. He did big Nikon cameras of video, 90 minutes of video of him and me hacking and some GroovyFX stuff. So if you're interested, I don't know what happens to the clip there, so I won't. But there's a whole load of videos. Each of these people has a video, and there's a whole load of user groups that you went to chat about and do tutorials on JavaFX. And I can recommend having a read them, because it's JavaFX in the wild, rather than just JavaFX in a small little studio or a tutorial session or anything like that. So that one's Martin Verberg, and that's Ben Evans, and they're the people who are representing the London Java community on the JCP Executive Committee. So those two are our folks. They're the people who vote on LJC as well. Okay, so that was that bot. He also did a route to JFocus a few months back, where he did Iceland and then Norway and Sweden and Copenhagen. Because this is clearly Southern Europe type thing. So if you've got data in Northern Europe as well. I don't think he used the most parts like that. So Steve's organising Pilates 1. Stuff open. There are lots of Java ones going on. Okay, enough plugs, yes? Yes. We want code. So what we'll do is go down here. And we've got lots of interesting code. So let's first of all do some Java. Because that's where we need to do JavaFX. So this is the text one. So I've got a standard Gradle project here. If anyone does Java and stop it immediately. Get rid of the and. And Java's fine, it's the and that's the problem. And if you're using Maven, stop it. Get rid of Maven, use Gradle. It's cool. So cool, I use it. But what we got here, I need to compile it. Here's hello world.java. So let's do the usual thing. Simple editing. The font will be too small, but it's in that, so we make it bigger. Does that font work for people? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is literally code showed a few slides back, and there's the group, there's the text, hello world, blah 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 blah. So we want to run it. So we do some Gradle. Actually the default run, so we just do Gradle on it. And because it wasn't pre-compiled, it's only compiled. And there we go, hello world. I don't know whether that shows on the screen, the folks in the video, but I think most people in the room can see we've got 24-point hello world in Ocean Source NT, as opposed to Ocean Source Standard. But you guys are not really obsessed by fonts as I am. So we won't worry too much about that. It works as it says on the can. But do we really like that much code? So we did. Groovy. If I just come back up here, and we've got the Groovy there. So the one. Okay, so there we are. The GroovyFX is now GroovyX as predicted. But otherwise, this is exactly the code. And you're worrying, oh, what's it grabbing? Well, one of the things that Groovy has added to the world is the ability to run scripts and have all your dependencies in the script. So you no longer need to worry about class paths and getting them right. GroovyFX is an add-on, it's not part of the standard distribution, and so I grab it. And grab will, if necessary, it goes to the cache first, and if necessary, it will go out to Maven and say, give me it from the Maven repository. I had to do that in the Gradle file for the Java. So what's hidden in the Java, actually, let me show you CD to control. Cool. So that's a build specification. No XML. You will get the feeling after this. I'm not very keen on XML. That's a good representation of you. So this is Groovy. So I have a Groovy specification build. And that's what Gradle does. It's a Java and Groovy system that does build. And it gets all of the dependencies right, unlike Maven. So what I'm saying is this project's a Java project and I want to be able to run an application. So those are plugins I'm using. I'm going to use my local Maven repository.
Make it a bit bigger.
A little bit bigger, sure.
Thank you.
Fine. Oh, okay. Widen it a bit as it's wrapped. Okay. So I'm looking in my local repository as well as Maven Central, because you can never trust the connections to Maven Central. So I always run it before I come to make sure I've got all the stuff cached. It's a safety measure. And what I'm saying here, I have a dependency in this build at compile time. I want the GroovyFX system. So there's the dependency for the Java build. It's in the build specification. The sad thing about JavaFX and Java 7, it comes as standard from, I think it's update 6, when it first came in. But it's not in the class file by default. So if you want to run JavaFX stuff in Java 7, you have to specify where it is. It's part of your class file. It's just an irritant. In Java 8, it's automatically in the right place, automatically in the class path, and everything is hunky. So Java 8 is a good thing if you're interested in Java 8. But I wanted to be able to run this in 7, and so I've set and this is just me saying where my main class is, where's the main method. So when I do Gradle, it automatically do run, because the default task is run. So if you like build, if you're interested in build, and you don't like XML, I have a place for you to go. Gradle. Actually, is anybody interested in Android?
Yeah.
You will be using Gradle, because Android has now switched from Maven to Gradle. It's default build. So it's that good.
Can I put Gradle into Eclipse somehow?
Yes, there is. The folk at Spring Source have a thing called STS, but a bit of it is basically a Groovy plugin. And if you load the Groovy plugin, you can do Groovy, and then there's a Gradle plugin you can put on top of that. But it has to be said, it's better supported in IntelliJ, IDEA, NetBeans, and yeah, those are the two best supported. However, that was a digression, a sort of very groovy digression, but nonetheless a digression. So the main theme here is This is JavaFX. Will it run? We know the answer. The question is, will you get it to work? Yes, it is. I'm in the wrong place. Ah, silly boy, silly boy. Ta-da! Ta-da! The proof of the pudding is in, it is the right thing.
It looks a bit bigger than the other one.
Actually, it is slightly. There's some issues I've been finding in font management somewhere along the line. I don't know where it is, but GroovyFX is rendering it slightly larger than JavaFX is rendering it to the same font size, which is weird.
That seems relatively slow to run. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah. Have you started up any UI that goes quickly? Answer no. Because you're actually having to build all the widget trees. If I have a UI which you're interacting with, then you get start up and then it stops. But that's the same for all UI or something like that. Yes, it will. Java doesn't. Sorry, Ruby doesn't have the stuff. It's got to initialize them all.
There's presumably an overhead from using them on the runtime as well, so it will run slow. It's not just a starting point.
Yeah, for computation intensive, yes, definitely, because it's a mock it's running between 10 and 50 times slower than Java.
Yeah.
But if you compile the Groovy with static semantics, then it's as fast as Java, if not faster. Because speed is down to G. The guys doing static compilation of Groovy are aware of the G. They're doing very good.
In Java, if GroovyFX is relying heavily on the mock, can
For startup, yes, it does.
but once it's going, it's kind of creep out.
It's IO bound,
Yeah.
as is any user.
Yeah, what I meant was you said that if you weren't using the mock, Ruby would be reasonable.
Yeah.
If you are using the mock
In the builder, because the builder relies.
Yeah.
I think we probably just need a few whizzy features just to convince people that this is good stuff. I could go on for hours and hours, and I've got plenty of demos here, and you don't want that, you want the glitz. So what I've done is I've plundered a talk that Jim, Clark and Dirk gave at Java 1 a couple of years ago, just because they're good, and why not just reuse them? So I told them I was going to reuse them and said, yeah, go for it. So the border pane, just to show you the replacement of the border layout in the swing, there's this sort of thing. And you will note that I am using Java 8 here. It's all running on Java 8. And you get this sort of thing. And I haven't set up any callbacks, so you don't actually do anything. And you're thinking flat background boring. So how about getting some decent backgrounds on these things? Yeah, so shading, pretty trivial. If you want really radial stuff, I should just put my glasses on so I can see. Yes, I'm more or less randomly picking. What's happening there? That illegal color. I cut and paste this from somewhere, and there's obviously an error. So we'll ignore that. But it would do nice radial stuff. The top one doesn't work yet because I'm finished tinkering with it. But what you want is animations. Yeah. Animations. So here's a sort of trivial animation that goes on, and you're thinking, oh, there must be masses and masses of code in there because animations require masses and masses of code. No, JavaFX is quite good at this. So what does that code look like? Just, less is more. So the sorts of thing you're looking at there is, okay, we've got a stage, we've got a scene, notice they're using the parentheses here. We've got a rectangle, so we've got a rectangle which has, right, we're filling it with navies, and we're doing some reflection of boundaries. So there's a boundary reflection going on, and it's just a simple transition. So we specify the various statements of transitions, and we've got the internal DSL, that's 4 seconds. If you want milliseconds, we've got ms. If you want hours, 4 hours, and so on. So, you've got a way of internal DSL. Can you do that in Java? Can you? One win for Groovy. Internal DSL allows you to specify this. To actually do all the setting of these things, there's a line for each one of these in Java. Do you really want to program that? So it's using these closures to embed builder statements. Is making this just so much easier in my view, and I'm hoping I'm beginning to convince you guys that is also the case.
So what is 4.s if I'm looking
4 seconds.
And what is it in the language? What sort of thing is it in the language?
Well, the integer has an extra thing s added to it, which then mediates through the time object into a specification 4 seconds.
Is it really
Because it's
type checked?
reset within the start block.
Is it type checked at this point?
Not at compile time, but at runtime it will be.
So you basically added an S method to the integer, is that essentially?
Effectively, yeah. But there's a whole language that has been pulled in for doing that sort of thing, in terms of times and dates. I suppose I ought to close up fairly shortly because I've been going just over an hour. Does that sound good?
That's great.
Right. Because the piece of resistance, sorry, the pièce de résistance, is a whole load of balls. So I thought I'd finish on this. This is a project I started, and it's the one that's on the video with Steve Chin. I started because I wanted something to exercise a quadtree algorithm, to have a look at parallelism in graphics rendering. And it was a great idea, it's still a great idea, but I've been so busy over the last 4 months, it's got nowhere in terms of doing parallelism. But it's still rather fun. It had a slight problem running with gradient, which I'm trying to get debugged with people. So I'm actually going to have to run it from IDEA. So IDEA takes quite a while to start up, so I'll walk it for a while whilst it starts up. Oh, it's starting up quite quickly. It must be the air in here. It's sort of decided it's got to rush. I'm not going to upgrade it at the moment. Thank you. No way am I going to upgrade it at this particular time. But I will start the group question.
Okay, you weren't offered a limit.
You won't be able to read any of this writing, I don't think. It's going to be too small. But it's basically, we've got an application. I'll put the application in. I don't know whether that's actually visible. But here's the start. Is it at all visible? Yeah, but at the back it's going to be pretty terrible. I don't know, is it worth me trying to it's not it will do IDE settings, appearance, font size, so if we up this to 16, let's see what that looks like. That hasn't done it down. Yeah. This is all online, it's on GitHub. If not on GitHub, it's certainly on my website. If anybody's interested, just give me an email, russel@winder.org.uk, We'll have a look at it. We've got a stage which is just Groovy balls. It's a certain size. We've got a scene which we're filling with black. We're initializing some data. This is sort of using the initializing data as a list. On list, we can do each method. And so this is a for loop over each item in the list, executing this closure. Yeah. None of this external for loop stuff. Internal iteration is the new black. And it's going to happen in Java 8. Internal iteration is what it's all about. So methods to do your iteration. And why do you want to do that? Because you want to do data parallelism. And in Java 8, data parallelism is true. Absolute true. You just go thingy.string.parallel, and then you're in parallel. It's great. The rest of this up here is just me hacking around on things like what do I want to happen on each frame. So I'm actually looking at frame by frame to get my animation. And I want to do that because I want to do collision detection and stuff like that. As you can tell from Groovy board, it's going to be balls hitting each other. So let's just actually run and see what's going to happen. Now you're going to say, this is seriously unphysical. And the answer is yes, it clearly is unphysical, but it's good fun. So this is, as I say, it's that code running a frame-by-frame animation in real time. That's Groovy. It's a Groovy specification of a JavaFX system, and so the JavaFX is doing the running. All the Groovy is doing is the building of the scene graph. And so the penalty you pay for Groovy performance is paid once at startup. You're not paying any performance penalty here at all. This is just running the animation in real time. And if I, the BBC are talking about 120 frames a second and 240 frames a second, we could get there. So if anyone's interested in doing the physics, I'm interested in collaborating.
So sorry, you said you constructed all the animation frames in advance in Groovy, or do you have a callback from JavaFX into the Groovy?
It's the callback into JavaFX. So the Groovy specifies the callback, which is an action at the JavaFX level.
Okay, so the collision stuff is in
Java level.
It is written in Java or it's written in Groovy?
No, you specify it in Groovy, but through the JavaFX API, it then gets mapped down into Java code and calls into the native system.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think you'd have to have a bigger font for me to see what was going on.
I think I would, but there's a trade-off between fiddling around here and boring people versus actually doing something that is visually available to people. I'm hanging around. The only commitment I have is I have to be in White City at 09:58 tomorrow morning. Otherwise I'm free.
Right.
So if people are interested in having a look at more, playing around with this, and yes, I know that there's something wrong there with that. I let it run long enough to happen. That's my problem, that's my code, because something's gone wrong with collision detection. It's because you check the collision, then you do the move, and then you recheck, and the difference is so little that it's moved just enough to get
Their shadow.
annoying. I don't know where the problem's going.
I think Russell already answered the question. So, episode.
Absolutely, no problem.
But now, I say, so has anybody got questions they'd like to ask Russell?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned earlier on that it's almost eventually going to replace Swing.
JavaFX will
Yes, obviously without that coupling, even GroovyFX is unusual. So how far is it away from replacing Swing? I mean, I've got a Swing application at the moment.
Yeah, the difficulty at the moment is that you can embed JavaFX stuff in a Swing framework. You can't do it the other way around. And even then, it's a little bit hard. If you look at the work the NetBeans guys are doing, to be able to embed JavaFX in Swing, it is a lot of effort. But they are capable of doing it. So we could have put that into a Swing framework.
And would you say that,
And so that gives you the ability to transition from Swing to JavaFX, rather than it being a revolution, it could be an evolution. A bit like that.
but would you say JavaFX is ready for production?
Performance-wise, absolutely.
In terms of the features?
It's things like slider bars, it's the GUI surrounds for the interaction that are still a little bit needed. But if you're going down that route, then what you really want to do is make sure you're doing all your MVC stuff and separating business logic and all that sort of stuff, and making use of the cascade style sheets. I didn't get into that aspect of JavaFX. Mentioned it, but didn't get into it. But even simple though it is, there are tools. There could be more code, but this is really the framework at the moment for me. You can build Swing or JavaFX or mixed with them. For me, it's a replacement for C Builder. It just works very, very well. And it's a full MVC client RIA system. So I told Andres I'd give him a plug. And so he let me use it. If you want to have a look at this, it's a full development framework you can work in, and you can generate all the code either writing the Groovy or using C Builder to generate FXML. So it provides you a playground to build mixed Swing, JavaFX, using FXML or writing Groovy. So I can recommend that quite strongly.
Can we just follow that question with the question of will it be migration?
That one you have to go to Steve, because I don't know the answer.
Okay.
But did you say, I missed the beginning, so maybe you said why there is yet another graphical framework?
Because Swing just isn't up to it anymore. It's looking tired, and it's got a few problems in the event loop. And it will not get up to 100 frames a second. And it can't really do animations in the way that people are wanting to do animations as a replacement for HTML5 and Flash. Well, that's really down to does the JavaFX engine talk to the underlying engine?
Yeah.
So you're relying on that.
Presumably won't.
In terms of GPU now, in terms of the display GPU, yes,
What's your view of JavaFX versus say Windows presentation framework in terms of productivity and richness of user interface?
I mean, all the Microsoft.NET stuff has been around for a while, and it's got a lot of lessons learned, including evolving MVC into MV, which actually is a positive model, and very definitely got MV4 into that. So in that sense, they're ahead, because they've got more time on the market, and they've got more feedback. In terms of the future, I think it's equal. Given that everyone's moving from Flash and all that stuff to HTML5, JavaFX actually has good competition.
Have you seen much in terms of commercial implementations of JavaFX?
There is only the one at the moment. The one that's going into OpenJavaFX. Whether others spring up, I don't know.
But just in terms of adoption in new companies. So I haven't seen any.
There are people playing with it. If you want more details, you have to actually talk to that to see who's actually going around and doing all the pressing the flesh with the customers, as well as having fun with the regulars. conferences. And so it's that sort of escapade. JavaFX is being pushed as a technology. There was a vote a few weeks ago now saying, do we want JavaFX on Android and iOS? And almost to a vote, the answer was yes. And a couple of weeks later, Oracle said, well, we're going to put JavaFX on iOS and Android. So it will be across the board. So I mentioned that JavaFX sat on Java ME as well as Java SE. JavaFX 2 currently is a Java SE and Java EU technology, but now it's going down into the Android and iOS space. And so there will be engines for those platforms. But then I think we'll see that it gets better.
I thought a little bit funny about stuff going on iOS at one stage because they wanted to output Flash. So is it legal to put it on iOS?
Well, there's legal and allowed.
Well, I know, but
there's an awful lot of stuff that's legal that isn't allowed.
yeah, I
Depends
mean,
on the relationship with your
what I'm
contract.
thinking of was Apple. There was one point when Apple put in this licensing restriction that said you basically couldn't use code building tools, and that's about Apple's tools.
Yes.
So this kind of this made all the Flash
Yes.
development stuff obsolete on iOS, and so I don't know whether they've relaxed that or whether
There are now non-Objective-C applications in the store.
Right.
And in particular, there are some Java applications in the store.
Right, but have they been generated by converting the Java into Objective-C and compiling it in Apple's stuff?
Do you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is that there are JavaFX demo applications on the Apple Store.
Okay.
I should have brought an Apple and gone there,
Yeah.
but it's the Apple Store, so if you don't have an Apple, you can't actually get it.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to know what
Yeah.
Because you could.
An awful lot of the guys working on JavaFX use OSX.
Mhm.
So you see an awful lot of apples, and you see an awful lot of those logos covering up Apple symbols on Apple. The actual size of the sticker, and they are stickers, I just haven't put mine on here, is designed specifically to ensure that it overrode any size of logo. But you didn't know that. I didn't say that. Not good.
One more question? No more questions? Right, okay, one more question.
The code that you showed obviously is rich part code for designing a GUI or
Yes.
really. What happens if you're doing dynamic stuff?
I think that's where Groovy would really come into its own, because you can dynamically generate any of these syndromes.
You've still got to compile.
They have to be compiled somehow because they need to go down onto the engine. And the engine has its own way of working. So yes, there will be a compiling stage at some point. Okay, I think that means I've got to display that. Oh, having that one here. Display that slide.
It's different, but not so good.
But yes, I used to call it subliminal. I couldn't get it any faster.
I'm afraid the second should do.
I feel that we've had a blanket phrase and we've had a look underneath and an awful lot of excitement too that are happening. I think we wish you all the best. So I hope it really happens. Can I ask you to thank Russell? But before I do that, I'm going to just do two things. Right? First of all, there's a attendance list going around. If you haven't signed it yet, please make sure you sign it before you leave the room. Secondly, I hope Russell will join us at Champagne Charlie's afterwards.
Absolutely.
And the rest of you, anyone who'd like to, you're very welcome. There are lots of people going in that direction, so just follow the crowd. Champagne Charlie's wine bar underneath Charing Cross Wine Station. Hopefully we'll discuss this some more.
And we have a machine, so we can get over anything else.
Right. So would you please thank Russell for